Good morning everybody and welcome to the ninth meeting, the ninth Durnanova meeting. I can't believe how quickly it's gone. Simon's our speaker today. Simon will speak about how he's looking to raise funds, charitable funds, and will explain how this money will be spent to enhance the existing emergency department and critical care unit facilities, whilst providing additional capacity to meet current and future demands. How's that?
That's very good, very good. And thank you to Mark and to Barry in his absence for the opportunity to speak with you this morning. Dorchester County Hospital Charity is also a member of this network, so I'm here as a member as well. It's a lot to say in a short period of time, but we all know the pressures the NHS are under. We've just heard this morning about private business as well and investment coming in to build capacity, and I'm sure we'll need more of that going forward in the future to support the work that the NHS also does as our population grows and becomes more elderly, and the pressure on services more generally just continues to increase. At Dorchester County Hospital, the role of the charity is to raise funds to enhance patient care and staff welfare, particularly since COVID, over and above available NHS budgets. And we all know, and we certainly hear at the moment, that NHS budgets are always under pressure. There is a limit, no matter what colour the government, there is a limit. So there are about 230 NHS charities across the country, and doing exactly that, from very large ones. The largest we will all know, Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital, effectively a national charity for a national hospital that children can be cared at, through to local and regional hospital charities such as ourselves. Every few years we have a major appeal. Our previous appeal was our cancer appeal that built the Robert White Centre. I was talking to some people this morning, the cancer treatment and radiotherapy unit at the hospital that we run in association with Poole Hospital. And over the last 18 months, we have launched a new appeal, our emergency and critical care appeal, to raise £2.5 million towards the hospital's plans to build a new emergency department and critical care unit with a so there will be an integrated unit with a helipad on the top of the new facility. That is all part of the government's new hospitals programme. And the overall project cost is £100 million. Part of that £100 million is the £2.5 million that we're planning to raise over the next 3 years, and I'll say a bit more about what we're looking to fund in a moment. There's another £2 million of charitable contribution coming in from the helipad charity, the HELP charity, that specifically funds helicopter landing pads for hospitals across the UK, a fantastic charity. So they're putting £2 million in for the helipad on top. Why does Dorset County Hospital need a new emergency department critical care unit? Well, the current A&E, as we might better know it, was built for a capacity of about 22,000 people a year. Last year we saw 53,000 people. So that's the level of demand that we see, and as opposed to winter pressures that do happen, of course we have summer pressures for ED or A&E because of the tourist population that comes into the county, enjoys themselves, but invariably some end up needing our services. In terms of our critical care unit, or intensive care as you may know it, we currently have 11 beds. And we don't have a specialist paediatric critical care facility as such, and that means that we have to send children with a high level of dependency usually to Southampton. We also have capacity and demand needs, of course, so the new critical care unit will actually grow from an 11-bed unit we currently have, and the new unit will have a facility that has a capacity of up to 24 beds, so over doubling that capacity as we move forward, including paediatric critical care space as well. So when that need is there, that can be arranged specifically to care for critically ill children. So very, very exciting plans, £100 million worth of investment coming into this region, Dorchester and the surrounds that we serve in West and North Dorset, which is brilliant. On that basis, before I talk about the charitable work, my other hat is social value. or you may better know it as CSR, really, or corporate social responsibility. How does the hospital actually, in addition to delivering direct health care, benefit the wider population we serve? How do we increase local employment and promote and drive that forward? How do we spend more of our expenditure and procurement with local businesses and suppliers, where we can do that? What is our green and sustainability agenda? So the NHS has a very major net zero plans. And so part of that is to actually drive local investment. Back to the charitable appeal. There's a banner up here, and I've put some appeal information leaflets on the table. We launched the appeal publicly last September in association with the Dorchester County Show, as we were their charity of the year, so it was a great opportunity. And I'm really pleased to say, and I'm not going to embarrass them, but we have two corporate supporters here as part of this network this morning. HK Law, who have chosen the appeal as, this year as one of their charitable partners, and Ralph from Porter Dodson and their offices locally, who have very kindly also chosen to support the appeal, for which we're really grateful. 2.5 million over the next 3 years is a lot to raise. As I say, we've already been fundraising for at least the last 18 months plus. We haven't announced it publicly yet, but we're around the 450,000 mark with income and pledges, because some of the charitable grants we get from local charitable trusts are pledged to be received a bit further down the road as we get nearer to the construction completion. That's quite standard. So we will be celebrating the first milestone, hopefully soon, when we hit the £500,000 mark. But we will be fundraising in line with the build of the project over the next 3 years. So if any of you go down Damers Road by the hospital, you will see where the old Damers School was. The site has been levelled, the access road being prepared, and all of the plans ready to start construction in the autumn of this year. It's quite, well, Mark's seen it, Ralph has seen it in terms of a site visit. It's an extensive site, it's a huge build, very exciting, and as we see that build progress, we will then be fundraising alongside the project. So new build completion is aimed for and planned for the end of 2026. It will be linked to the existing hospital. There'll be some refurbishment works then, and then the new facilities aim to open in, we're saying, around spring 2027. So that's the sort of time frame that we have. How do we raise £2.5 million? Well, we really have a mixed economy of income sources that we look at. Corporate is very important. I mentioned charitable grants as well, particularly from local charitable trusts who have been incredibly generous to the charity and to the hospital over the years. Individual donations, really important. A whole range of fundraising events, of course, in the community, as well as high-value events. Potentially the receipt of legacies during the period, so gifts in wills during the period of the appeal, and that happened during our cancer appeal, for which we were incredibly grateful. So a real mix of support, and one of the interesting areas that we are now working on is philanthropic support from major donors in the area that have got philanthropic interest in medical and healthcare causes. I mean, the original hospital was founded on philanthropy, as all hospitals were. And this is our little philanthropy brochure. In fact, Thomas Hardy ran a fundraising fete to raise monies for the very first Dorchester Hospital way back when. So we also have what we call engagement events, not fundraising events per se, but inviting corporates and other interested parties. Barry and his wife attended an event we had recently at Athelhampton House, so that we can bring in not only the senior leadership, chief exec and chair and so on of the trust, of the hospital, but also lead clinicians and the project directors and the team, so that people can actually hear firsthand about the plans that will bring benefit to patients and families in the whole region. So in terms of corporate support, we're building that now, and if anyone here is interested, contact details are here, or speak to me afterwards. We'd be very happy to have a conversation. Even if it's just, you've got an interest, you can't commit at this moment in time, but as some of the people here know, Mark and Ralph, we run site visits on about a monthly basis, just to take people around in groups of about 10, to explain in a bit more detail with the clinicians what our plans are for the development. And we'd be very happy to invite yourselves if you have an interest. So I would just say, I'm going to stop there and just thank you for the opportunity to spread the word, because that's really how we do this, and we'll continue to do it over the next number of years, and we really appreciate the opportunity.